Good evening, everyone. Welcome back once again to Vicious Rants. And of course, I'm your host, your YouTube messiah and often imitated, never duplicated superstar Tim Vicious. And we are talking about Raw this week was in Atlanta, Georgia. And I say this every month, you know, the most important episodes of Raw and SmackDown are always the go-homes, but this is probably the most important go-home of the year because it is the go-home show to WrestleMania. Ed, turn the camera. Turn the camera. I'm pointing to the sign. Seriously, man, come on. Sorry, folks. Our normal camera guy is out with the flu, so just Ed's working the cameras instead, and he's trying to teach the intern how to it's a nightmare. Anyways, Raw started out with coachman, with the coach in the ring with two sets of tables on with a set of tables on opposite sides of them, and you know, last face-to-face showdown before their match at WrestleMania. So they welcomed out. They brought out the MILF in charge, Stephanie, and the God King himself, Triple H, and then Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle. And I mean, I don't know. Personally, for me, from a fan's perspective, the whole idea of last face-to-face encounter before the match, with nothing being with just like, seriously, I don't get the whole concept behind that. But you know, it was kind of okay. I mean, nothing big or nothing fancy. It wasn't a good opening segment, but wasn't necessarily that bad. Probably the best part was when Steph wound up getting serious, we all know on how well Ronda handles losses, right? Nice jacket, by the way. But yeah, after that they went to do a photo op. You know, that last face-to-face photo op of And then, as Steph went to go leave, Ronda just sidestepped her. Kurt tried to intervene, then Tripp, boom, hit him with a mic, and then Ronda went to grab Tripp, and Steph picked her up, and looked like it was either a really bad chokeslam or an attempt to do a Uranagi, but it looked like she tried to do one or the other, and then boom, right into the table. And now, as far as this match goes, I've said it before, I want her to come off looking as unpolished as possible, so that way it adds to her character of transitioning from wrestling to MMA. You know, that would just be beautiful in that sense. You know, and not only that, you could just kind of tell the way she carries herself after this. You know, I don't know, I think she would be a pretty decent heel. You know, I think she'd be a pretty decent bad guy. But either way, on to the show. First match of the night. Now, I also do want to point out, this show didn't have a lot of matches. It was more so lots of last-minute hype and build-up for the show, which I'll get into that in a bit. First match up, it was Bayley going against Sonya Deville, and then the match starts when Bayley comes out to the ring, eyes up the Women's Battle Royal trophy, and then decides to go, and then goes on and they have a match. Now, there was a little back and forth at the start. Bayley, though, for the most part, she was leading the match. You know, Sonya, she got her nice rounds in. It was fairly decent, you know. It was fairly decent, kind of good. But in the end, Bayley wound up winning using a roll-up, you know. And after the match, God, I'm talking slow. Ugh. talking slower than I want to, and I'm trying to speed up, folks. I'm sorry. Hard way to go here at the Vicious Studios at the moment. But either way, after the match, then the girls from Absolution proceeded to do a roll-on on Bayley. Then Sasha came out, cleared house, looked at Bayley and said, "I just saved you. Now you raise my hand," and put her arm up like that. To which case then Bayley just wham! Hooked her and took her down. Just damn! Took her out, and then them two proceeded to start going at it for a minute, and then the girls proceeded. Then Absolution came out, beat them up again, and yeah. So, as much as I don't want to see it go this way, it definitely looks like the Women's Battle Royal is going to be, the final two are going to go down to Sasha and Bayley. So, which kind of sucks because really wanted this Battle Royal to be a chance for the girls to actually have a chance to shine. You know, but instead of just it being a Battle Royal just to build up two people. But, oh well. Next up, we get hands down the match of the night. Bayley, Seth, or not Bayley, I'm sorry. Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins. Miz is on commentary. I absolutely love the way Miz was carrying himself on commentary because he was just going on about, you know, being a dad now and doing all this stuff and that stuff for his daughter, and in between doing all that, he's, you know, getting in his training, he's studying tapes, all that, and just I thought it was beautifully done the way he was doing it because he came off in such a way, it was like, yeah, that's a first time dad. And I could speak from first-hand experience because when my son was first born, I was like that with everyone. Like, oh yeah, it's I learned on how to waddle, and now I'm like the fucking champ of waddling. I figured out on knowing how to change his diaper like a pro. You know, all that kind of stuff. My best advice though to the Miz and Maurice, and I sent it to them via the Twitter, was sleep when she sleeps, because if you've ever dealt with a newborn, you're not going to get any sleep unless they do. So, learn to adjust on sleeping in micro naps. Either way, now back to Balor and Seth. Like I said, this was match of the night. Just straight back and forth with each other. Beautifully, absolutely loved it. You know? Beautiful way that they were doing it. Excellent storytelling. I absolutely loved it. You know, nice amount of near falls. At the end, they spread out the amount of near falls perfectly. Match came to an end when Seth, he wound up eventually getting it hooked in. Got the curb stomp. Boom. 1, 2, 3. That was it. And so, now honestly, I could see this match for Mania, the triple threat, going any direction for Seth, Finn, or Miz. But personally, I wanted to go for Miz just so that way he can keep going on, riding and goading on how he's going to be now the best Intercontinental Champion of all time. He's going to beat Pedro Morales' record, this, that, and the other, and all that shit. You know? Now, next set of build-up. I'm sorry, not build. I'm sorry. I'm thinking fast and I'm talking. Brain's all sorts of fried right now. Sorry. Next matchup, it was Matt Hardy versus Goldust, and now before this match came to be, they showed 2 vignettes. One was Goldust officially declaring himself to be in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, and then Matt Hardy saying on how he welcomes Goldust, but he will have to be sentenced for deletion. It was kind of a ho-hum sort of match. It was more so just felt more so like it was just to fill the clock, like to fill a spot and to chew the clock. Matt wound up getting a win with the twist of fate, and after the match he was like glancing over at the Andre the Giant. yes, you will be mine. Something like that. Which, you know, say what you want about the broken, woken character, all you want. He fucking did amazing with it, and he sold money. Now, next up, we got Elias going against Heath Slater. This was a pretty short-lived match. It was, you know, nothing big, nothing fancy. You know, nothing big, nothing fancy. Elias, he did his shit. Dude, like I said, nothing against the guy himself, just the character I cannot stand because it's like a smell. It looks like that smelly hipster. We all know that. Just like, dude, no, back away now, chill. He got the win with the drift away. That was it. Which now leads us to our last match of the night: Alexa Bliss and Mickie James going against Dana Brooke and Asuke. Dana Brooke was the team punching bag for the entire match. Then once Asuke got the hot tag in, she cleared house left and right, and then wound up getting the win on Mickie James via the doing the chicken wing. And so now, like I said, the majority of this show was promos and build-ups, and I absolutely love the way they were presenting it because it was like the last chance for, it was like they were doing it in the last way of, hey folks, listen, we're reminding you that this show is on Sunday. This pay-per-view, this is the biggest pay-per-view of the year. It's on Sunday. You know, instead of like just consistently, instead of presenting it in a way of, oh yeah, and don't forget this Sunday, it was, hey folks, this Sunday, it's the pay-per-view. If you're new to the network, you get it free. You know, things like that. And now, closing segment of the night, my personal savior, Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar were out. Last build-up for their match against Roman, and what Paul does, and promoted and sold the hell out of it, you know, talking about on how Roman's going to be Brock's bitch, the title's his, it might as well just make it on him for forever. You know, Brock Lesnar has now officially been the Universal Champion for over a year, for now over a year as the time of this recording, and all that. And while he's all doing that, there are guys down on the entry ramp that are there to make sure Roman doesn't come out and cause a problem. After Paul does what he does, then you hear Roman's music, bum bum, ba da, dun 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 dun. He comes out, standing at the ramp, looking at everyone like, guys, you're really gonna keep me from that part-timer? After how he showed how he appreciates everyone? And then next thing it was like Moses parting the Red Sea, just, and they all just started to move to the side, and it was okay. Roman got in there, him and Brock, they were staring at each other, looked like it was getting ready to go down, and Brock rolled out the ring, grabbed his title, circled around it for a minute, and then grabbed the chair, got back in. Roman just threw Superman punch after one after another on him. I think he did like 4 or 5 until Brock was finally down long enough. Held the title up, and then next thing you know, Brock just got that freaky burst of energy, came back up, boom, took out Roman, hit him with an F5, and then that was it. So, yeah. Now, all in all, for a go-home show, I'd give it like I would say it was a solid 8. You know? I mean, they didn't give any specific idea of on how the card for the show looks that day, which That's just a personal thing, you know. But either way, got no problem with it. And like I said, majority of this show was promos and build-ups. Really liked the way they were doing it that way, because it was more so a way to talk the viewer into wanting to see it, instead of just the traditional, you know, we'll throw each other around for a minute, or, you know, throw each other around and share a few punches with each other before the pay-per-view, you know. Really dug on that. But yeah, that's it. So that is it for this week's show, folks. So do not forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, go back, watch some of the other episodes. Make sure y'all look for me on my Twitter at TimVicious. Also do have another account, Tim_Vicious. Also on that Facebook, Gimmick Tim Ash. Let me know you found me from here if you're gonna look for me on that. That way I don't think to get your creep John going. Also look for information down below on the Dad Show, Lifestyle Podcast, Storytell Podcast, whatever kind of podcast you want to say it as. New episodes coming out soon. Not a matter of if, but when. Also, do not forget to follow all of these cool ass cats right here on the Twitter. Axel Mulligan, make sure you check out Axel's newest project, Wrestling Review, where they talk about British or European wrestling. Kenny Killer, my two co-hosts for the Dad Show. I am Danny Sunday, and the executive producer for this show, Oliver Ben, who did provide music for this week's show. Make sure y'all check him out. His music's out there on iTunes, Spotify, and such. Details are down below. Also, make sure you hit Ollie up for one of these Ollie Rewind shirts. Show the man some love and support. Cranky Grandpa, Aaron_DeBora, and Dazzy MEWP. And folks, like I always tell y'all, you love me great, you hate me. Fuck you.